Vodafone presents the pre-match.
G2 and NRG about to duke it out, and just one team will advance to have a chance, I'm a poet and I didn't know it, to get to the Qudos Bank Arena. This is the big one. Best of 3 now as we have to talk about it. Fortunately, I'm not alone at this panel. That would be awkward. I have none other than Ian Sniper Turner and Janko Wynk Paunovic to chat to. Gents, I'm kind of already on the NRG hype train. I think as soon as I saw that they were doing something similar to what they were doing online, I think, you know, we had some crazy stats. I think Brainstorm was throwing some mad numbers at me, like 32 wins. In fact, you're right there. Can you shout it at me? What was it? It was like 32? 32 wins, 6 losses in their online play. That's madness across both of the online leagues, Ian. They've done something similar here. Well, they definitely came in with a bang. The game against Astralis, I felt, was really where they tested their mettle. And then, obviously, after that, we saw what they could do to boot. And I thought, well, that's pretty much what you want to get. That scoreline, 16-6, 16-5, that really sends a message. Yeah. And then coming into this G2 game, especially with the way G2 played against Fnatic last night, I think this is just another test in that stepping stone that Daps is talking about. And this G2 roster, though a legendary organization, some legendary names, I can't help but feel faith has been lost, Janko.
Yeah, definitely so, because also the fact that Mixwell joined, it's almost 2 months now, so you can't even really give them the excuse of, yeah, it only just happened, they need more time. I mean, how much time do you really need to get things in order, right? Especially what we talked about with the map pick yesterday versus Fnatic, going for Dust 2. You would expect them to have a stronger map by now to pick in a best-of-3 series than a map that's been introduced back into the map pool a week ago, right? So a couple of very concerning signs for G2. Obviously, if they turn it all around a couple of weeks from now and everything falls into place, in the grand scheme of things for them, it's not going to matter because, you know, they were so inconsistent and so underwhelming for the roster that they've had previously that it's not that difficult to do better, really.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, though they did pick up this Dust 2 win, it was by no means like a strong feat. There wasn't a demonstration of hard work and that this was their pocket pick and start banning Dust 2 kind of conversation, Ian. It was standard.
Well, even with Apex popping off, as we would say, he was just really a machine for that first map. He disappeared in the second, but came back in the third. But obviously, overpassed. There was a couple of mistakes here and there, and that's what cost them the match. Obviously, they upset Crims. That's another mistake. And really, after that, I mean, look, you just wouldn't want to do that again. He was an absolute monster and really ruined G2 single-handedly. Obviously, JW with some clutches as well. But that being said, looking back at G2, it's like, well, they have the firepower to really disrupt what NRG bring with their rigid sort of play style. Whereas I think Astralis and NRG may be just a bit of a mirror match there. Obviously, Overpass as well. So I think this is really another test for NRG to say, how do you handle the, you know, this star-studded French lineup?
Yeah, and they've made it clear. And I think I saw a tweet from Cirque. We've heard it in interviews here at Sydney that this is, they consider this just a test. Daps said it himself. He was like, we're not planning on lifting a trophy here. We just simply want to see what we can do and whether what we are doing online works.
Oh, well, you never know. Like, could be lifting a trophy the way this tournament's been going.
Do you think that the question has been answered, that they can, you know, what they have been doing is working, or do we need more evidence?
I think we need a little bit more evidence. I think, you know, Astralis wouldn't have gone into that game thinking they were going to get their medal tested, or, you know, even overtime, which is unbelievable. But coming into this game, this is a real test again. I mean, look, G2 maybe, like you said, that they're worse for wear at the moment. They haven't got a complete map pool, and they went for a desperation pick last night against Fnatic, which says something. But if you're beating these teams that are in that sort of phase, well, obviously you're passing the test, and then we can say, look, NRG, we've got to give them a bit of respect.
And I'd like to jump straight into the map discussion. You've already made it clear, Janko, that G2 picking Dust 2 made you uncomfortable. Do you think it's going to happen again?
I don't think so. I think because NRG can just veto it, right? They played all 7 maps in the pool when Cobblestone was in, so they can just veto Dust 2 and let Nuke through if they really want. And for G2, yes, that would probably be their pick in that case, but how comfortable are they on that map, really? And we saw yesterday on Dust 2, it wasn't, you know, a dominant really win, so maybe NRG, maybe they've played it in the free time in the week leading up to this tournament, so maybe they feel they can play that even.
Yeah, well, take a look at the bans then. Let's see if we can bring them up, and then we'll be able to run in Theorycraft from there. And it is going to be the Dust 2 ban and Train. Is that a strong suit for NRG from what you've?
It's just a perma ban for G2 really. So and that's a problem. You know, how would you say that NRG has a advantage in map vetoes against G2? That just tells you the many problems that they have with this lineup. And you know, when it comes to picks for NRG, really, they can go for Mirage, something that G2 has been, you know, struggling on a bit one-dimensional on that map. Apex used to in-game read when Shock was in the lineup on Mirage, because Shock didn't really play the map that often. Now it's MBK, so a bit of a discrepancy there, and it is one of the most played maps for NRG.
I'm seeing Nodzi, and you think there's just that NRG have an advantage from here on out?
No matter where they go, I mean, you look at the NRG map pool, it looks stronger than G2's at this point. I mean, you look at maybe a nuke. Definitely, I think we might see a nuke, but, you know, there's always Cache as well. Like, G2 used to be famous for Cache.
That's true.
You know, that used to be their mainstay, so I wouldn't be too surprised if I did see them try and do that, just off the back of how they've been playing.
Well, let's take a look. Let's see where we do go. That is the Mirage you're expecting, and Nuke, Yenka, you expect. You don't know how comfortable they may be, but it seems like that's G2's best option with the absence of Dust 2.
Yeah, you can't really, you know, steer away from that. Looking at NRG, yes, they've played it, but it's one of the least played maps for them. So for G2, this might be their one saving grace, really, in the veto, where you can give them an edge. As for Mirage, G2 picks the side, they picked CT, so that also might be a way in, right? First game of the day, if you start off slow, we know how G2, when they get into the swing of things on that CT side, if they gain momentum, you know, they play with a lot of confidence, aggressive all over the map. As Ian pointed out, they can be very disruptive of NRG's style.
Yeah, and let's just see how things do end up then as we get those final 2 bans coming in. It will be the Cache from G2 removed, and we end up on Overpass. G2 were given the choice, so it seems like the lesser of 2 evils as we venture into Overpass, Ian.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, I wouldn't go for Inferno either if I was G2, but then again, you know, just on the back of Yanko's point, you've got Nuke for CT as well, and NRG now coming into the Nuke on the second map. If they do a pretty good job even on their own map pick, they're coming into Nuke, then I would be pretty confident with NRG despite not really seeing how they play it very well. But just being CT to start with, just maybe get into that huge lead. But again, G2's disruptive sort of play style might cause a lot of havoc on a map like Nuke. And then Overpass, well, if NRG have done their homework, they saw a perfect Overpass last night against Fnatic, and there were a lot of things you could definitely break down. Yeah,
we're going into Mirage first. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that is where we saw them play versus Astra. No, it was Overpass. Excuse me, you literally just said that. My bad. So, Yanko, I just want to kind of gauge expectations. Do you think NRG are going to be pushing us into this Mirage? Are we going to be seeing that 1-0?
I think we can. It's going to be, this is their true test, right? Best of 1 against Astralis, first game of the tournament, then against Boot, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see, Alex.
Wait and see, indeed. Mirage are first in the best of 3. One of these teams is going home. Let's head into your casters. It's Elfish Guy and Brainstorm.
Thanks, Alex. Yes, this is going to be another good matchup, Tim. Looking forward to it. G2 up against NRG, and the desk seems a little undecided as to who they are going to back. Can't say I disagree with them in that case, as both these two teams have looked okay coming into this matchup. But again, this is the real test as NRG makes their way out onto the A-bomb site.
Already the pistol round underway. They execute straight out. Flashbangs for jungle, smokes for connector and CT. And already Cirque is looking to take this fight. He shone brightly in their series yesterday. He's already found the opening frag. And G2 with the bomb down are isolated from the A side.
Yeah, very, very tough now, particularly given that there is Fugly sort of hanging around in mid near the T apps for NRG. He could cause some problems for those guys trying to rotate in for G2, but NBK has managed to peg one back here, so there is an opening for G2 to make their way back into the site if they don't kill each other. In the end, though, it is still looking like it's quite nice for NRG, trading backwards and forwards, and the positioning still not too bad here for Fugly. The bomb is planted for him, and he might just be able to clutch this one out, but a great shot from Kenny S. That's going to shut the round down, and G2, they draw first blood here in this series.
Goodness me, that was a bit chaotic. NRG got out onto the site well with that execute, but the retake, G2 got on the bomb site before NRG did, really. They were fighting around from jungle, trying to get the headshots through, and even with some team damage coming out from G2, some nice shooting from Kenny S gets it across the line. So they will, as you say, start off with the round win on CT pistol. Going to go on to the rifles, the FAMASas now. A couple SMGs out as well. And for NRG, bomb down, minimal investment so they can pull out the AKs in the third round with that extra bit of money. If they can plant again here, that's the difference between a lot more utility and not much. But either way, they will be pulling out the big guns next round.
Yeah, just those pistols out for NRG and trying to make something happen here, Breezy. Slowly progressing through A ramp. Maybe a bit of a dry contact onto the A bomb site. Get a cheeky little pick in here if he can. The Deagle has been presented the opportunity, but no kill's going to come for it. Now Cirque just needs to make sure he deals with Apex, but it's going to be the other way around. Apex getting the timing. I mean, sometimes you're just not able to really check that angle. So no real problems there, I guess, for NRG. Realistically speaking, they're not expecting too much out of this round. It was going to be a little bit lucky were they to come away with it. It's all really down to that next round that you spoke about, round number 3, when they get the AKs in their hands. And we get to really see what NRG has got for us in this matchup.
Yeah, this round, essentially a bomb plant was best case scenario, and I don't think they're going to get anywhere near it. as it is the FAMASA's getting the damage done. There's 2 quick pistol frags, though.
Well, both of those players on the A bomb site were quite low, and Breezy hits a nice shot onto Kenny S. Now, all of a sudden, we have a round on our hands. NBK and Mixwell tasked with the retake into the A bomb site, but already a crossfire set up here for NRG. Breezy's position not quite known just yet, but it will be given away fairly shortly. The bomb not really planted for him either, so this is going to be difficult to hold for NRG, particularly with that shot out from NBK.
Goodness.
And in the end, it is quite safe for G2, but they lose quite a few players, so the damage is done there by NRG, and they get the bomb down as well, which is really going to help their buyout next round.
Exactly. When you lose the round after planting the bomb, it's an extra $800 per player on top of the money that you get, so that will put them all around the $5,000 mark here. That could be a really early T-side ult with no armor if they do choose to go that way, but instead, it's the full rifles and that extra money with the bomb plant there, with 2 bomb plants coming in, and the couple kills means they do all have full utility. So they've essentially got their first full gun round out around early. G2, though, have gone for the early to AWP onto Kenny S, the SMG frags, giving a bit of boost to their money. He'll be able to have impact with that one. Looking to go towards mid early off, as are NRG.
Yeah, but with all that damage that NRG was able to do in the last round, G2, their money is quite low, so a pretty important round coming out here for the CTs. Mixwell able to get the trade there onto Breezy, which does stabilize the ship just a little bit there for G2, and it looks like he wants to go for a little bit more aggression here. No, deciding to just jump into ladder room and lock that area of the map down. NRG, they've managed to secure some control of mid, but they're not necessarily capitalizing on it just yet. They're content to lock it down and utilize other areas of the map. In the meanwhile, though, Body on the push here into A ramp.
It does have Ethan waiting for him, and more players of NRG are going to be moving over this way with that bomb. They do have the util, as previously mentioned, that Ethan can't quite get the frag on Body, but tags him down. Be concerned about Apex up on high, but that's an excellent entry.
Wow, excellent indeed, Tim. 2 kills coming out from Ethan, getting rid of Apex and Body, and the A-bomb site all of a sudden cracked open here for NRG. A great pop flash as well out there for Ethan. He wasn't quite able to get the kill off the back of that, but he did enough damage, forced the CT back into the site, and made his life quite a little bit easier. Now for NRG, though, they've taken control of the A site. The bomb is down, and it's a 4 versus 2 for the retake here, which G2, you have to think they're not too keen on even going for.
Yeah, you'd have to think not. They do just want to hold on to these guns. There's no utility, no kits. It's not a very winnable round for them, and Fugly's here just to make this one a little bit more painful.
Yeah, that is actually quite painful indeed, because G2, they're not going to get the buy through next round. If they take the 2 M4s, you can put one on the B side, you can put one on the A side, or you can try and push mid with the 2 M4s, try and make a play. But with just a single one here for Mixwell, maybe even he doesn't survive, could be problematic for G2 in the next round, though it does look like he's going to be able to get out of here quite safe. Never mind, I spoke too soon. As he takes the re-pick, and Ethan is certainly looking sharp right now for NRG. It's the dangerous times ahead, perhaps, for G2.
It is indeed. That round all comes down to that mid-pick as well. The fact that they can get rid of Kenny S means that G2 have to reposition, go for the 2 and 2. And normally the way that the CT side will work is that when you lose map control somewhere, for example, in that round they lose it in mid, even though they get the trade back, you try and take it somewhere else, which was the push into A main. G2, or NRG I should say, very aware of this, flashing themselves in. And Ethan hits some nice entries, getting rid of all the guns as well, denies the money for G2, pushes them back onto the pistols. Once again, NRG with the early mid presence, bomb headed towards B. Most likely a B split here.
And this is the start that NRG would have wanted. So far in IEM Sydney, they've done a good job, but when you look at their opponents, obviously with the exception of Astralis, which was a great match from both NRG and Astralis, going up against Boot, that was always really the expected result here for NRG. So I'm not so sure I'm going to sell the storyline that they've been really tested just yet here at IEM Sydney. I think this is the real test now for NRG, and this is where they have to start working their way into the upper tiers, I suppose, of IEM Sydney. If they can get rid of G2, they still have another match to go up against, potentially either Mouse or MVP, whoever comes out of that matchup, to get themselves into playoffs. But they need to dispatch of G2 first, and already at the start of this round, G2 have found the first pick, courtesy of Apex. Look at the position that he has got right now into T-Abs.
He's pushed mid to find the first frag, and now he's continuing to go. NRG have actually wrapped completely behind Apex, but he too is behind them, so it's a cat and mouse game at the moment, but it will mean that NRG can work towards this A bomb site. Good entry from Fugly. Still 2 players in CT though, as well as Apex lurking around, but these opening frags will start to stabilize things here.
Well, that's a little bit of how you going there for Breezy, as Apex does manage to find his head, and it's 2 versus 2, Body quite close on the site. Cirque starting to step up now with the AWP, and that is definitely something that we want to see out of NRG. He was fantastic with that weapon against Boot Dreamscape, and it really caused some headaches for those guys. But as of yet against G2. We haven't been able to see too much from him. Obviously, it is very, very early days, so waiting to see how he sort of grows into this matchup and whether he can take it to Kenny S.
Very difficult, potentially, but certainly seen so far that he's got the mechanical skill to be able to do it. Cirque is an incredibly fast AWPer. Very mobile, very quick on the old flicks, so we'll see what he can deliver for us in this best of 3. In that round, though, NRG keep 2 guns alive. It's expensive up against the pistols, but they still get the round win. They keep a couple guns up. They've got plenty of money from earlier. Here's some Cirque action, by the way. Very quick.
He does like those flicks, doesn't he?
Does indeed. And a lot of slow-mo, but we're getting there. There it is. Excellent work from him. So now 2 and 2, NRG. They lose pistol after what was a bit of a chaotic one, but they win it back. Tie up the round now. Apex still has that solo AK.
Yeah, exactly. He saved the weapon through, so at least something for G2 to work with. Right now, he is over in mid, but rotating over to the B bomb site. So NRG need to be a little bit wary of that one, as Apex has spotted the cross now, and into the site does go Ethan. NBK somehow manages to find a knife kill and all of that, and now with the AK coming up with another kill, Apex has managed to find one more. Oh, it's all gone wrong for NRG. Fugly all on his own here on short. There's absolutely nothing that he can do right now but fight his way out, and he does get rid of body in connector, but peeks right back into the crosshairs of Apex, and goodness me, that could not have gone any worse for NRG. A knife kill, and then dropping to the eco.
Oh boy, so NVK sitting under window there. That is a good position where players normally jump into you, but you don't normally play that with a knife. Look at this, spots him coming in. Thanks, mate. It's 2 left clicks as well.
Shank in the back.
Oh, goodness me. NBK, that's explosive from G2. Putting the boot into NRG, who put the boot into boot yesterday, but still only 3 and 2. 5 rounds in, that one's a little bit annoying for NRG. This pause will just be to reset mentally.
Yeah, well, this is why I wanted to say like that. The test against Boot was not really a difficult one for NRG, really. Coming into this tournament, obviously Boot, domestically speaking in the Asian region, they're not a bad team, they're not a bad unit, and they do have some success. But up against international teams, Boot does not have a lot of experience. So they were always expected to come into this tournament and not really succeed too much. They didn't end up winning a map here, which was pretty much the expected result for the guys from Singapore. But now, NRG, you know, having dispatched to Boot Dreamscape, they look fantastic in that matchup, but how much of a gauge can you really get from a match like that?
Really not much at all. We saw one good map from them against Australis, falling in overtime on Overpass. But again, it's not much to draw on. So this is really where we find out where they're sitting at the moment. No lands yet for this year up until this point. And they will be going back onto a bye here. Ethan's limited to just the AK-47, but it's the smoke and Molotov execute out onto A. Body's playing close. Palace looking to ruin this whole thing.
Yeah, NRG are force-bought into this round. They want to fight back straight away against G2 and give them no quarter. Breezy trades out with the MAC-10, but it's still a good start to the round for G2. Kenny S looking strong now with the AWP as well. Gets absolutely demolished. Great headshot from Fugly. I'm not sure that it's enough to get NRG back into this round as the smokes do fade. Cirque finds NBK, and Fugly, he spots out Apex, but at the cost of his teammate. Can't quite get the trade straight away, and that now makes his life incredibly difficult. There's also a player wrapping through Palace right now. Fugly, he's got enemies on all sides.
And there's no way he knows that Mixwell's coming here. Surely he won't be checking this. He's aware of the flank, looking at A main, but well, he does have time to play with. Checking Palace at the right time will be another matter entirely. He's aware of it, but to draw Mixwell out, he's going to have to fake the plan and then immediately check Palace, which is a 50-50 on whether you check A main or Palace looking for the flank, but does mean that Apex is pushing for positioning on the other side of the map.
Yeah, he's wasted enough time now that G2 have split up, so it is possible here for Fugly. Potentially, if he plants safe from Palace, he might be able to even get the bomb down. And he can actually find those 1v1s, but it really all comes down to the timing now here for Fugly, and he is running out of that time. If he goes over to the B bomb site, it's not going to work out too nicely for him at all, but the A site is the choice, and Mixwell has heard it. It's not going to work out too well there for Fugly, though, as Mixwell gets an easy frag. Very nicely played from G2, just deciding not to do anything too risky.
You say that, it was reasonably risky from them because the A execute comes down and G2 push straight through it. Kenny is immediately through that CT smoke, holding it off angle on the Palace push. They come through the connector smokes as well with the rifles, so for NRG, they don't expect their exploit to be, or their execute to be exploited in that way, but G2 very confidently take the aim duels and win them, forcing NRG back onto the pistol round here. And for G2, NBK is gone for the good old MP9, looking to farm himself some cash. Kenny S is holding this angle in mid as well, with Apex ready for the trade, even if a miraculous 1 dig does come out. There's the flashbang, and now Apex has some eco frags coming his way.
Yeah, Apex certainly has been having a good tournament so far, and here's a few eco frags for him. Just stat padding a little bit, which is always fun. Fugly does manage to trade him out, but I'm not so sure how much more Fugly is going to be able to get with this deal now that his position is known. I want to touch on how G2 have been going so far here at IEM Sydney. We saw them against MVP, and it was really Apex and Kenny S that were doing the dirty work there for G2 on Inferno. And then it was very similar, the kind of scorelines that you saw up against their next opponent as well, G2. When they played against Fnatic, it was the same 3 guys stepping up for G2 as it was against MVP. Once more, we're starting to see, I feel like Kenny S and Apex having a real good impact right now here on Mirage, but also NBK, he's been having some star moments on Mirage so far as well. So it seems like across the board, G2 are really starting to work well as a unit.
And that's what's dangerous for them. They do have Mixwell coming in as a sub for Shox, who's been off having wrist surgery. So, of course, there's always the potential questions that you ask when a roster brings a substitute in, of talking about chemistry, talking about the positions on the map that the sub plays. But Mixwell seems to be doing pretty well at the moment. And for NRG, G2 are starting to get confident, which is very dangerous.
Aggression out into mid now, this time from G2. Something new, but it's shut down there by Daps, who in his own right has been having a very good tournament here for NRG. Kenny S able to trade Breezy out though, so in the end it's a 1-for-1. Does favour NRG a little bit. It's going to split the bomb sites up and open things on the CT side a little bit more. So NRG, they can collapse onto potentially even just about 1 player on the B bomb site right now, however. Going more in the direction of A.
The last time we did this A execute, G2 pushed straight through it and shut them down, so we'll see how they choose to handle it this time. It's looking to be the standard smokes out onto the A bomb site. CT stairs, jungle. Body's up on connector, or up on Palace as well, dropping his own utility, and again, Kenny straight in front of the smoke.
Yeah, Body doing some good work there as well. Just drawing the fire from the T's allows an easy job for Kenny S to get the frag with the AWP. Now though, it's just Kenny, and he hits a great shot onto Fugly. 1 player left to find. That is Ethan holding by Firebox. Kenny S does not want to get a little bit overzealous here. NBK in the end, charging through the smoke, will drop Ethan. And now G2 up to 6-2. It's been a very, very fast map so far. But all of a sudden, we're 8 rounds in, and G2 is looking very dangerous.
And this is what we saw against MVP on Inferno for G2 as well. They figured out the utility that MVP liked to throw, which in their case was that deep smoke for banana control, then the Molotovs, and G2 went very quickly through that deep smoke, not worried about the smoke at all, getting up into banana, and from there they were able to shut down MVP. So far, they've done similar to the A execute here, getting through the grenades as they come through, not giving NRG any advantage with the utility that's used. And for NRG now, pistol buy again, and this time they're going to go for a contact onto B by the looks. Only 2 flashbangs to work with, and G2 have a good read. They've beat them on A multiple times in a row, so the reasoning from G2 is that it must be the B play.
Ethan took a quite significant tag from that Molotov as well. But NRG, they will continue to push on forward here. The smoke down from NBK might keep them at bay, or at least allow NBK up onto the apartments. And this is the exact position that you want to be in to try and deal with a rush like this. He's going to be able to spray them all down with that AK. Cirque, the first one to drop. Mixwell gets one as well. NBK does get taken out as well. And it's actually not too bad of an entry into the site for NRG. But the rotation does come across quickly enough for G2 that it's not a problem. 7-2 up now for G2. And they're still looking good.
Have to see what the change-up is here from NRG, because we saw, like I said, against MVP, what G2 can do to a team who aren't adapting, and what they will do to a team who always present them with the same thing. So for NRG, they've got to try something different here. They've been pretty much taking mid control or taking A with the execute on their gun rounds every single time, but their A executes have been limited to from A ramp. There's been no split after the initial mid presence. Kenny S already, or Mixwell even, up and through this short smoke looking for the gap. While NRG are looking to take this one, the CTs are ready.
Yeah, Kenny S just so dynamic across the map, in mid, on B. And getting the opening pick this time for G2. It's 2-for-1.
It's also 3 Molotov kills in 2 rounds for Mixwell.
NBK now has the secondary AWP as well for G2, and that is going to cause some problems for NRG, unless he misses a shot, and Fugly will punish him for that. But still, player advantage for G2. 2-player advantage now, in fact, as Apex has got the deed done onto Ethan. Again, it's just Fugly trying to clutch the round out here for NRG, an all too familiar situation for this man in this matchup so far, and a difficult one as well. But Kenny S does let a shot go a little bit loose. That allows Fugly to bring it back to a 2 versus 1. The unfortunate scenario, though, for Fugly is that the bomb is up in apartments.
And not only does he have to jump up and get that, he can't do it stealthily. he will be spotted or make noise surely in the attempt. And these players inside market, I'm not sure if they know if bomb's there or not, but Apex is certainly watching for it. And Fugly has to worry about his flank, about short, about everything at this point. He doesn't have the info. He's just going to go for the plant, though, and try and win the aim duels for the 2v1.
Well, he's managed to get the bomb down, so that's mission successful, or at least the first part of the mission. Now it gets a little bit harder, though, as G2 starts to make their way into the site. Apex does give him a frag, and body there for the trade, but that was so very close indeed for Fugly. Admittedly, he didn't end up getting any shots actually onto body, but down to a 1v1 from a 3v1. It's definitely a little bit worrisome there for G2. In the end, though, NRG, they don't come away with a round, and despite doing economic damage, at this point, economic damage is not enough for NRG. They need to be getting rounds on the board.
When your AWP is the richest player on the team, you know there's no money problems, really, and G2 are rolling in dough at the moment. There was a sick Molotov out as well onto the back of the site. Well, the back of the site from Markety, the way that they drop onto Fugly there. Haven't seen that one used too many times, but it's for countering exactly that plant spot. It works out perfectly in the end. The trade does come through. So now NRG have been read pretty perfectly every single time. Their B push there was a little bit more effective, but the trades still came in. G2 looking pretty on point today with the aim. And so for NRG now, 2 rounds on their T side. This is their map pick as well, so things have not started out well. We're moving into Nuke. If they can get this back to an 8-7, maybe take second half pistol, because the T-side pistol of them looked really good off the start, but G2 got a little bit too much positioning. Kenny's hit a couple nice shots, and from there it was over. So if they can get the second half pistol, maybe this is competitive again. But right now, it's all going the way of G2 on their CT side.
Well, it's always very scary having to fight back from a deficit like this, isn't it? And NRG, another tactical pause out from them, and let's see what the fruits of their labor are going to give us here into this round. It's time to start turning things back in their favor. They need to start posting a comeback now, or it's essentially going to be never, as G2 will run away with this first half.
Going for this B play again. Deep smoke will slow them down, but they're just going to be flashbanging through it. NBK is actually inside the apartments this time through the smoke. He's been around here a little bit, and he's here again. If they push into him, he might find some frags.
Yeah, great start there for him. Ethan goes down now. Breezy as well, and NRG just not getting the trade that they need. And NBK, he finds 3 before going down. And that's the round, more or less shut out here for NRG, just relying on Fugly and Cirque. And Cirque's only got an AK here, not even the AWP. We can't see those crazy shots that we saw out from him against Boot here. But Fugly has found himself some nice positioning on the site. However, gives it away as Apex has now spotted him out, and all onto Cirque in the 1 versus 4. Able to get rid of Apex, and a lot of damage done over there as well onto Kenny S. But the grenade to follow up is going to be enough for G2. And once more, it's just a big individual play out there from NBK. He has been so stoic in those apartments.
And unfortunately for NRG, right now they're not showing us a terribly deep strat book on the T side. They've taken A, they've taken mid, they've taken B, but they haven't really done any sort of combination. There's not been any faking going on, there's not been any splits. They've just been trying to win the aim duels, and with the confidence that G2 have at the moment, with NBK playing so dynamically in and around apps, shutting them down as they come through smokes, with Kenny S getting confident enough to push through a smoke in CT to go fight in the A bomb side. With all of this, NRG are really going to need something special here. Now they have spread out and they're playing a default, but they're not going to find too much just yet. They do have a player in around underpass. It's Cirque floating around over there.
Yeah, but just the pistols out here for NRG. Again, it's a position they found themselves in quite a bit here on Mirage T side, which is the exact opposite of what they would want. Kenny S does miss a shot, but Body is quite ready for the push. Apex backs him up as well, and there's 2 for Apex in the end. It's not looking like it's going to be anything too magical here for NRG in this round. Dapp's still alive with the Deagle, but what do you fancy of his chances in a 1 versus 4?
Not sure there's much he can do here. He might get the timing onto one of these players, and Kenny looks away at the wrong moment.
Yeah, but the trade is there for Apex. And realistically speaking, losing 2 guns there for G2 is a non-issue.
They don't care. They've got so much money at this point that it's not even a worry. And what is a worry now for NRG is that they're down 2 and 10 on their own map pick on the T side. And that's... They do have the pistols, and their pistol aim is actually decent, but I think the thing that's undoing them a little bit in these pistol rounds, or a lot, I should say, given the scoreline, they're not peeking entirely together. The first kill was entirely uncontested. It was just a 1 for none. The peek in from short, looking for the trade, came late enough that Kenny S had time to reposition on that angle. And again, Kenny S is now getting confident into mid. We saw there's a lot from Gratisfaction yesterday. We'll see if he can find the first pick. This is a gun round for NRG. They need to be finding an opening here.
Yeah, this is absolutely do or die time now for NRG. If they let this one go any further than it is now, if they don't get the 10 and 5 out of this first half, you might as well write things off at the end of the half here. As G2 have just done so much work on their CT side, and Mirage, you can get some good rounds on the T side as well. So it's really not looking good right now for NRG. But there is still time to come back into this map one. We can't count them out just yet, but it really is on the precipice.
It's never over, but again, the confidence on G2 to take the map control that they have. They're aggressively up into mid. They know that NRG aren't there. NBK's pushed in and taken B apps again. Process of elimination, they know it's going to be A. They've got 2 players here already. Mixwell's just taken a lot of mid control. He's up on short. Kenny's made some noise, but NRG, they're going to go for the A split here coming out of underpass late. They might just find the timing on Mixwell, though. That's not well timed from him.
Yeah, this could be the chance that NRG needs to get back into this map. Mixwell being shut down by Breezy. A nice entry there for NRG, but they need to capitalize upon it. And Ethan, has he spotted Kenny S out? Perhaps not. It's Apex, actually, that I'm talking about. And in the end, Kenny S does shut him down. It's got, whoa, what a flick from Dabs. Oh, maybe there's still some life left in NRG. They slow things down, though. G2 has allowed the rotation across. NBK, he's been so good for G2 so far, but it puts it into a 1 versus 1 now for Kenny S. With the AWP, he's going to be shut down. Daps, what a fantastic round. 3 kills, and I was going to say, Daps has not been having an impact here so far for NRG. He had 2 kills before that round started out of the 12 rounds, but now 3 in the last. Does clutch away a very important one for NRG.
But even then, that just comes down to an individual effort. That wasn't NRG having the better read. They still, G2 knew exactly what they were doing with the mid control, with the B apps control that they had. They knew that NRG were going to go A. They were already positioning through the holes in the smokes to get the kills that they got. And it just comes down to Daps in the clutch, being given a chance after Kenny misses a shot, which, once again, you can't be counting on it. Kenny won't be missing that one appropriately onto Daps.
That shuts down a lot of hope there for NRG, as Daps was the one to pull them through the last round, and now playing with a player disadvantage. They had an opportunity in this round to reset the economy more or less for G2 and really put them onto a bit of a weaker bye next round, but haven't quite taken advantage of it, and Apex just gets the timing onto Ethan there, checking at the perfect time. Puts it into a 3 versus 5 as NRG will slowly progress towards the A bomb site, but already there are 3 players of G2 lurking, waiting on that site for them.
It just feels like NRG keep defaulting back to A after losing a couple of picks. It's just where they want to go after things don't go well, and they're continuing to not go well. That's a gun round shut out.
They just walk into the crossfire there as well. I'm not sure how much utility NRG did have walking into the A bomb site, but if they had any, they didn't throw it. And G2, they just say, well, thank you very much. It's another round, and your economy's reset, headed into the last round of this half. So we're looking down the barrel of a 12-3 on the first map.
Yeah, we are. It's full CZs out for NRG now. They've got a bit of utility, but they haven't been using it too effectively. They've used a smoke in top mid. They've got 2 nades out towards mid now. They've used a smoke in top mid, a couple smokes around short on B, 1 in apps to try and get themselves out. Of course, the default's on A, but none of it has really stopped G2 pushing through them. Smokes are not walls, and NRG are certainly learning that the hard way.
Certainly, indeed. Ethan takes a huge chunk from that grenade, and NBK follows up with a kill onto Fugly. It's just been so good over on this B bomb site and the A bomb site for G2. You can't really fault them. Breezy, it's a nice shot, but it's not going to be enough. NRG, they've fallen apart here in the first half. 12-3, a monstrous half for G2. We'll head to a quick break and find out how quickly this map is going to be done and dusted after this. been an epic start to the series here for G2. NRG struggling on their own map pick, finding only 3 rounds on Mirage T side. Now moving over to CT, they have a bucket load of work to do, and it starts with the pistol here. Very, very important one for NRG. They need to find their way into this matchup, otherwise headed on to Nuke. It's looking almost disastrous for them.
Yeah, it won't be a fun time for them at all. They do have a decent record on Nuke, but it's all in online results, and it's all against NA teams. Heading up against G2, I think, will be a bit of a battle, especially with the French players in the form that they're in. But it's not all over for NRG just yet. It's too early to sound the curtain call, as they do now head into their CT pistol. Got a smoke and a kit onto Daps. Bit of utility out. Actually, no, that was just a decoy. I lied to you. For G2, and they're going fast for B, where there's 3 players lying in wait for NRG.
Yeah, but for G2, why not go fast? Why not try and keep that pressure on NRG right now? Straight into that B bomb side, but it hasn't worked out the way they wanted it to, though. Kenny starting to trade some back might have something to say about it, as we're into a 2 versus 3. G2 with some degree of control of the site, but now only body left alive, and he is going to be slinking all the way over to the A bomb site. A very smart move from him, as both the players of NRG are on B.
Circus picked up that smoke in the kit, and he has armor behind it, so the normal disadvantage of going for the utility and pistol round, not having armor, is negated. But Body, he's got the bomb down, and he's actually going for this first fight. If he can find a 1v1 here, he makes this round doable, but they've made their way into jungle, and I think he might know it.
Yeah, and still winnable here for Body. Timer is ticking away, but those CTs, they need to find this trade here, and a 1 versus 1 is given to Body there. Can't quite get the kill onto Ethan, but down very low now. Oh, what a great shot from Ethan. I was going to say it's going to make life difficult for NRG, but not if you hit a shot like that. And that is the pistol round that they needed.
That's the start as well. It started out well for NRG, or G2, I should say, going fast into B. After the initial trades, they get a few kills back. But it's Cirque having a decent pistol round. Ethan as well getting involved. And the fact that the B players on the site are able to go 1-for-1 against the players jumping in is what helps to open it up. So for G2, no pressure here. They've got the bomb down. They're going to go for pretty much a full save. They're still up by 8 rounds, so no need to be stressing out with force buys and panicking at all. It's still NRG with the work to do. But they've got themselves in a good position to do it. Rifles, SMGs out. The grenades there as well. Only the 1 kit on Cirque, but given the guns against them, I doubt G2 are holding onto a post plant for very long, if they even get the bomb down.
No, but that's not the intention here for G2. The intention is just to try and do some damage to the CT economy. They know that they have so many rounds here to play with. They don't need to be doing anything too drastic just yet on the T side. Already the round going well for NRG, and it will continue to as well, as Breezy shuts out Kenny S. That's how you want it to go for NRG. Build that CT economy up here, but option now, bonus round for NRG. It's risky with so few rounds left to play with, but I think this is something that they need to go for. They need to boost that CT economy up.
And it's not even too much of a bonus round. They did have an extra MP9 out on Fugly, but he's gone for that upgrade. So really, the FAMAS on Breezy is still capable. The MP9 on Daps would be the only limiting factor, and he has been a B player. He'll be sitting under apps, maybe in apps, playing somewhere close where that SMG can do the damage. In the meantime, for G2, playing a default 2-1-2, spreading out, looking for presence.
The good thing, at least for NRG, is that they do have a lot of utility into this round. That's going to shut down any quick aggression out from G2.
G2, though, have taken full mid control. NRG not looking at it.
Yeah. Apex has found the first kill there onto Fugly as well, so it's not a good start to the round here for NRG, and NBK could cause a bit of a headache here very, very shortly for Ethan. As really, Ethan is the only one holding on to this A bomb site right now. NRG are being picked apart all across the map. And it's all onto Ethan. He's going to hit a good shot. Oh my goodness, what's just happened? NRG, everywhere they find kills. And Ethan comes up with the goods. 2 kills for him. Now it's onto NBK, the star of the CT side for G2.
But the bomb is in the middle of nowhere, back in top mid. It does mean that NBK can go and grab this, but it's 16 HP, 1 versus 2. While doable is tough, but it's what we expect from MBK. Certainly a legend of this game, known for the clutch ability when necessary, at least in terms of the big clutch holds. We'll see what he's got for us here on the T side now, though. Heading back towards A, going quietly. And NRG aren't actually on this bomb site. They're both playing towards mid, going for the fast rotates so they can play the retake together. Let MBK get the bomb down, and then play out the 2v1.
Issue is here, though, for NBK that he does not have a lot of time, so he has to make his way quite quickly into this A side and really can't afford to check all of these angles. The smoke, of course, is going to help, but even a little bit of spam here from NRG is going to shut the round down. Looks like the bomb's going to not quite get planted as Cirque is quite quickly up onto the stairs. And NRG do close the round out in their favour. So we're at 12 and 6. And slowly progressing forward for NRG, which is what they need.
For NBK there, his biggest danger was the unknown, but it was some excellent fragging that pulls NRG back into that round. That was a round where they'd given up mid, they'd had it exploited, there was a player all the way up through connector for G2. The split onto the A bomb site was coming from multiple angles, but doesn't matter how good the angles are, if you can win the aim duels, that's what matters, and NRG deliver in that round. Now forcing G2 onto the pistols again, but once again, the pressure on G2 for now still pretty minimal. No need to be rushing into things here. Just going to go for some deagle damage if they can find it. Keep the economy of NRG a bit honest, or G2 I should say a bit honest, given that they are quite low with the reinvestments that have had to come in.
A little bit of damage done there by G2 so far. Circa's quite low and Breezy goes down as well. That's a good shot from Body. So now NRG, they have to step up and take notice. G2, what on earth just happened there? Cirque's gone down to a headshot through the flashbang, through the wall.
I wish I could explain, that's just Body though.
I look away for a half a second and then all of a sudden Cirque is dead.
This is not a round that NRG want to be dropping. I know that's very obvious to the viewers at home, but look at their money. Just to put a really fine point on this, Breezy is the only one with cash. They've invested pretty much everything into this round due to the damage that's been done. And now in a 3 versus 2 where the A-bomb site is empty, G2 are going to get a free walk onto the site, a free plant, free post-plant positioning, wherever they may choose. Ethan is on the flank, but will it be quick enough? Not to stop the bomb plant, certainly, and he's going into B apartments. They think it's going to be B.
Even if G2 don't win this round, they have still done such astronomical damage to the economy of NRG that they have succeeded. G2 right now, they have the bomb down, but does NRG even want to go for this? I mean, this could be the match over if they lose this round.
I think they're going
to. And drop both of the guns.
Even if they go for this, the positioning from G2 is too good. Look how much time they've had to get themselves into window room to get the double stack towards the flank.
And Dab's making so much noise right now. He's given away his position. Ethan as well giving his away. Does win the aim duel against Body, but NBK, he knew that Daps was coming from connector and will be able to find an easy kill. Mixwell hasn't been checked and Ethan goes down. Oh dearie me, G2, they come away with a very cheeky round and NRG will not be pleased at all.
And that's the problem when they set themselves up so far away. Let's do this shot. I don't even know what he saw, if anything.
He didn't. It was just a spam through the flash.
Goodness me, that's ridiculous. And he was aiming at the wall as well. But for NRG there, the fact that they're so limited on time is what loses that retake, because they did have the advantageous weaponry, but when they were rotating so far to even start that retake, you can't afford to check all those angles. And the ones that they leave unchecked are the ones that go unpunished. Something else to point out as well is that smoke top mid doesn't give the short AWPer a gap.
Yeah, but NRG finding the first pick there. And G2 not expecting Cirque to be sitting in that Molotov, so that's a mistake that they won't make twice.
They're already trying to shut down the mid presence though. When we saw NRG throwing that smoke on the T side, and certainly most teams throw it so that there's a gap where the short AWPer or short rifle, if they want to, can peek through, but NRG, or G2 even, don't give NRG that chance, adjusting their smoke slightly. But they do still lose that first kill, and now they've got to fight back into a 4v5. They've got mid control at least. The bomb's heading over towards B, but Breezy's ready for the boost in mid.
Ready and waiting. An easy kill there for Breezy. Now it's 3 versus 5, and that's good news for NRG because they don't really have the buy to contest a 5 versus 5. I mean, we've got a CZ there for Daps, a Scout for Ethan, and an MP9 for Fugly. So definitely not the weaponry that you really want to be taking into a round like this. But G2 have given them the picks that they need to win this round and claw their way back into Mirage. Daps. It's some short work done there onto NBK. The CZ still proving quite useful.
I think it will always be useful, at least in the current state of the game. Could
was
be
the bomb spotted as well.
That grenade is going to finish off Daps, but that's only the 1 kill. They need 4 more with the bomb down in a terrible position.
G2 might not even want to go for this. If you look at their economy right now, 2 players have got enough money to drop, Mixwell and Kenny S. If they save 2 guns through, it's still going to be a really good buy next round for G2. But if they lose these guns, the buy's not really going to be quite there.
Exactly that. It's a very important point to make that not only are these 2 guys with the guns, like, they'll be saving the guns, of course, but they're the 2 richest players. So as you said, that's not just guns saved and their teammates can force pistols around them. That's guns saved and drops available for their teammates. They'll get no money from saving out this round, but still sitting on around $4,000 each. They can both afford to drop a rifle over. So G2 can be straight back into contesting for this one.
Yeah, 1 player on G2 is just going to have a pistol or something of the sort. at least the benefit of having that extra cash on the two guys with the weapons saved through is that they can also get utility behind their purchase. So having a look at this, it's actually a really good buy. An AWP, 3 AKs. I mean, there's a CZ there for MBK, but they've got all the utility in the world. And if there's just one kill in this round so far, or if there is one kill in this round, NBK is going to be able to grab himself a gun. So it's very, very good. NRG, though, some aggression into mid, and Kenny S is waiting for it. If they go around this corner, they'll be walking into his sightline.
NRG seem aware of it, though. And I did just want to check that quickly. We had a little factoid popping up there that Cirque was 17 when he joined this team. He's 18 now, a very young player and having some great impact at the moment with the AWP. But still 13 rounds to 7 for G2. They're back on the gun round now, with that exception of NBK, but he's still got full utility. So while he's a little limited in the firepower, he can still have good impact for his team here. And NRG, they did have a very mid-heavy hold. It's now shifting over to the A-bomb site. So G2 at least have pulled around the rotations a little bit, changing up the positioning of NRG. But what will they do with it?
Still time left on this round.
Something to point out, though, is that positioning of Cirque there, the fact that he doubles back. If your AWPer in Mirage is playing that rotated position and is constantly kept rotating, they are useless because they'll be locked out behind the smokes. On CT side, your AWPer has to be there to get a pick before the smokes go down because they're rotating once the execute comes in. They're locked out until the smokes are gone.
Well, right now, there's a very real possibility that that is going to be the case. Or, in fact, maybe Kenny S is just going to kill Ethan anyway. Although he was the player with the scout, not the AWP. It's still a good pick for G2. And they'll make their way into the bomb site. The smoke's down in connector and jungle. A Molotov to follow up there as well. It's not going to spread onto Breezy, or perhaps it landed in the smoke. Regardless, Breezy untouched, but Body close by. This is a very tough retake for NRG and Body. Oh, what? They're
hello?
right next to each other.
Guys?
They haven't spotted each other. Oh, no way!
4-3!
Ooh, well, Body, he almost got away with murder there, but Breezy does turn around and take him down. Still, it's not going to be enough to get NRG a favourable position back into the retake, and they decide to save, but that is a bitter pill to swallow. It allows G2 up to 14.
And it all comes down to those rotations being pulled around by NRG. It's understandable why they went for the rotations that they did, given that NRG, they didn't show too much in mid early on, or G2 even didn't show too much in mid, while NRG had 3 players there. They rotated over to A, but Cirque's indecisiveness means he can't be holding a line. Helping out as that A hit comes in. He would have been smoked off had he played from jungle, but even as he moves to CT, G2 well aware that they didn't have that covered and don't give him anything. And they close out NRG just on the time alone. Now, for NRG, they get away with multiple guns up, so they'll be able to have a second chance at this round. Should be something dropped over for Ethan as well, but G2 now up on 14. 2 more rounds needed to close this map out. And NRG are going to need something pretty special here to get back into things.
It's been a good start to the series here for G2. Fugly trying to get a little bit of something going on here in the underpass, but so far deciding not to peek. Mixwell might have a bit of problem ahead of him, so just peeks in with the AWP there. So that's the start that NRG need to this round.
Look how B-heavy this setup is for them. They will be calling the rotation over, though. They've got a pick in apps. They've got info in apps now with that push coming through from Fugly, so they know that the rotation is most likely coming through. And it will be towards the A-bomb side, but NRG have got at least 1 player over there. Cirque's on the way as well. G2 might just be walking into the trap. NRG playing with their rotations.
3 players on that A-bomb side. NRG, they have all the tools they need to defend this round out. And with that player advantage, it is definitely very doable. But G2 have been looking quite dangerous. They could still manage to find a way to make this one work. Apex, he spots out Dabs, but still Ethan crouched under the balcony. They haven't spotted him out. They haven't checked him. And Ethan's going to be able to get 1, no 2. Actually, Cirque was the one to drop the bomb carrier there. But regardless, it's a kill for NRG and a kill that they very much needed. Even though the bomb will go down here for G2, NRG still with the advantage, trying to retake. Now Kenny S, though, makes the play, pushes in onto Breezy and has the opportunity on connector as well. Fugly goes down. Kenny S taking a stand, and he spotted the 3rd player out as well. It's Cirque in a 1v2. Can he do it again here for NRG? Pushing on forward, and the answer is no. 15 up on the board now for G2, and NRG quite a ways to go before they equalize that. This is looking like map 1 might be all over.
And of course, it's Kenny S. It's always Kenny S who steps up when he's needed with that AWP. Incredibly flashy player, incredibly talented. And NRG find that out the hard way. They already knew, of course, but the reminder is not what they wanted. So now, 15 rounds to 7. G2 on the brink. And they've pushed NRG back onto essentially nothing at all. At CZs, look how much damage is done with the utility early on.
Yeah, it's all over here for NRG, isn't it? Ethan down on 1 HP, and that might as well be where NRG is right now as well. So they have 2 players left alive in this one, both with CZs. Kenny S spots Ethan out, and the AWP, perhaps a bit of overkill there, but in the end, 16-7 as G2 come away with a very comfortable victory there on Mirage. Really good work and a great start to the series as well for these guys. Now, we'll head to a break, but we'll be back with the analysts after that.
Hey.